What's going on, everybody? This is Lies Junior. Do me one favor, hit that subscribe button, subscribe to my channel. I would gladly appreciate it. So, I'm going to talk about excuse me, I want to get into this video where we're talking about the Ohio disaster. It's apparently worse than what we thought. Without further ado,
how bad is this? I mean, it does take some experience with the chemistry to really know that. Sil Caggiano is an expert in this. He's a hazardous waste authority. He says the town of East Palestine has effectively been nuked. He joins us tonight to explain what that means. Sil, I appreciate your coming on. How do you, having spent your life assessing things like chemical spills, how do you assess the condition of East Palestine tonight?
It's very troublesome. These poor individuals, through no fault of their own, became victims of systemic failures within the rail transportation system, and it manifested itself in this mushroom cloud that they had to experience in their town. One of the reasons why I made the comment about we nuked a town with chemicals is because there was somebody from Darlington, Pennsylvania, who was videoing the cloud that had went over his property. And you could see fallout coming out of the cloud going onto his property. And I'm looking at it and I'm saying, it reminds you of one of those apocalyptic shows where the nuclear fallout's coming out. And I thought about it and I says, well, yeah, we basically did nuke a whole town just to get a railroad going, back in service. And earlier on, I got involved in this because news media were not being told the truth. Days into this, no train consist was available. They didn't know what they had. And that flies in the face of logic. If you're going to mitigate a problem, if you're going to have your fire department and other responding teams take care of it, you should know what the heck you've got. And
see what he said right there. He said news media did not know the truth. They didn't know the truth. Wow. Won't be the first, won't be the last. Let's get back into it.
It got to the point where they were showing me pictures of train cars, the local media, and I was identifying what was in based on UNID numbers or train car numbers. And when they told me their plan, at that point you had a few cars burning. They had unmonitored hand lines there keeping the tankers cool. And then I find out that they're pulling the unmonitored hand lines, keeping the tankers cool. I said, well, that's just going to cause the tanker cars to heat up, which they did. And then they announced that one was very near catastrophic failure. And I said, well, if they don't put water back on it, it's going to continue to heat up, and it's going to what's called a blevy, and it's going to damage other containers. And then I was told, no, they're going to detonate all these cars so that that doesn't happen. I could tell you, Mr. Carlson, I've been looking at rail incidents over and over because in Youngstown, Ohio, there's 3 rail lines that run through our town. So as a chief and as a instructor, I trained my guys to anticipate stuff. And I would go case study after case study after case study, coming up with different scenarios just to keep it going. And I've never once in 39 years ever heard of them blowing up train cars, right, dumping all the chemicals into a trench and lighting them on fire. I was dumbfounded. Yeah. And when you lit this stuff on fire, you were creating phosgenes, you were creating hydrogen chlorides, you created this plume, and up in this plume was all the incomplete combustion products of everything that was there. Stuff, if you looked at the guy's video, stuff is precipitating down into people's property. There's a lot of questions, and the answers came slow. And first you get, well, now we found vinyl chlorides in the water. Well, yeah. No joke, you're going to find that. And it seemed like everything was drips and dribbles. Instead of, one of the things I learned is you tell the truth, you tell it all, you tell it first, and you tell them how you're going to solve the problem. And none of that was forthcoming.
Yep, he's right. Tell the truth, tell it all, then see how you're going to fix the problem. Exactly. He is exactly right. I agree. I got a lot of questions. One of my questions is, how much is it going to cost to pay for this? Should they, evacuate the town? People shouldn't drink or take showers, because of the water. I mean, it's a mess. That's what it is. And I mean, wow. I like what he said. He said, flat out, tell the truth, tell all the truth, then talk about how you're gonna fix the problem. I like it. Yep, I agree. Let's get back into it.
I began to worry about, what the end result with this was going to be. They had evacuated 1 mile, and I was telling the media they better do like 1.5, 2 miles. Well, subsequently after that, they went to 2 miles.
Yep.
And then within a few minutes, a few days, they were bringing everybody back. And that was pretty much just in time to open up the rails. And there was no testing. There's got to be some plan going forward in this cleanup and recovery to test.
Yeah. I mean, if you find asbestos in your building, you contain and remove it. You don't blow it into the next county. It just seems self-evidently insane. Sil, I appreciate your coming on tonight. That was really, really interesting and sad. Thank you. Subscribe.
Well, I like this guy. He's been doing this kind of work for 30 years. He said, yeah, he told the truth, flat out. And they got to figure out what they're going to do. And about this mess, because it's no joke. There's still, the water in Flint, Michigan from 2014 is still questionable. I think they fired the mayor or the governor or whatever, and the water's still not where it should be. I mean, I don't even think it's drinkable. It's a mess. And yet, our deficit in our country is $32 trillion. It is what it is. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. I would gladly appreciate it. God bless. Excuse me. God bless.